Hello everyone and welcome back to my opinion. And the Kolkata Knight Riders have beaten the Sunrisers Hyderabad by 8 wickets to clinch their third IPL title. On the 11s of both sides, starting off with the Kolkata Knight Riders, they went with the same side they fielded in qualifier 1. I'd suggested in my pre-video that they could play Anukul Roy ahead of Ramandeep Singh. From a batting perspective, Ramandeep would bat at number 8, and would that be too impactful on a surface like this where you'd want the top 7 they've got to get the job done? He wouldn't really have too much of an impact. And secondly, with a bull, would he be even bowling one over when you've got the attack that they've got? And if someone goes runs, would you put faith in Ramandeep to supplement those overs? No, you wouldn't do. So that's why I thought Anukul Roy on a surface where there is some turn on offer and he can bat at number 8 would be a better selection. But they went with the side they fielded in qualifier 1. And on the Sunrisers Hyderabad, the moment I suggested 11s in my pre-video and they went with the same side they went with in the previous game where Shahbaz Ahmed was drafted into the team ahead of Abdul Samad, who was in the impact subs list. And I said in the previous game, if Washington Sundar, an India player, couldn't find his way even into the impact subs list when playing in Chennai, I didn't know what to say. At least he was on the impact subs list in this match, but the moment I saw their 11, I knew that they weren't going to do much in this match. In my 11, I'd suggested playing Glenn Phillips ahead of Aiden Markram so he could bat him at 5 and Heinrich Klaasen at 4. I had said Washington Sundar at number 7, Shahbaz Ahmed at 8, and the impact so would be Natarajan, where you got 4 seamers and 3 spinners. Instead, they stuck to their usual ways. They brought in Shahbaz Ahmed into the 11 and Abdul Samad, the impact sub. Disney continued to play Aiden Markram, and I thought their team composition was what let them down from the outset in this match. Winning the toss and choosing to bat first was the correct decision, as I mentioned in my pre-video, and even on the first wicket to fall, a fantastic delivery ball by Mitchell Stark, and most left-handers wouldn't have been able to play that. However, from deliveries prior, Abhishek Sharma was throwing his hands at a couple of wide ones bowled early on. In the third ball, I thought he was lucky he didn't carry to the cover fielder. And the fourth, he hits a couple of runs and dismissed on the fifth. So, while there's an incentive to attack in the power play at this venue, where I said the 50-odd for 2 mark after 6 at this venue have won that phase as a batting side, with the couple of deliveries to start off the match, I knew the dismissal wasn't too far around the corner, and with the way he was dismissed, he couldn't do anything about it. On Travis Head, we've seen that he's got this weakness around the off stump. It's been exploited on a few occasions. In this case, the ball pitched outside the leg stump and swung away from him, and there was no foot movement, so I thought it was quite a tame dismissal. When Rahul Tripathi walked out to bat, I thought it was a very good piece of bowling by Vaibhav Arora, who, while he can bowl at around the 140 mark, on this occasion he bowled in the 120s, hit his lengths perfectly, and got the ball to swing a considerable way. Rahul Tripathi, from the first ball he faced, I didn't think he was going to be able to get many away off Vaibhav Arora. It was a struggled innings of, I think, 9 or 40 in the end before he tried to go for the big shot and was dismissed. And what was different from this bowling and the game against the Rajasthan was that Trent Boult, I thought, bowled a lot quicker than Vaibhav did. He bowled at almost about 138 kph, and that's why when you saw shots such as the pick-up flick played over square leg, the extra pace aided Rahul Tripathi to play shots where, with the lengths Vaibhav hit and the amount that he got the ball to swing in to the batsman, it was a case where Tripathi could not get going because of how well he was bowled. I said 50-odd for 2 after the power play. SRH for 40 for 3, and I thought the game was done then and there. Apart from Abhishek Sharma, there were a few soft dismissals and also cases after I thought the first 2 dismissals where the batsman tried to force the issue and therefore paid the price. And I once again don't understand why Nitish Reddy was sent ahead of Klaasen number 5 when the extra wicket wouldn't have fallen, in my view, had Klaasen been sent out that bit earlier. It would have been easier to send Klaasen out at 4 if Glenn Phillips was playing, as I've said many times now, but I wasn't surprised that they didn't take that decision of playing him. And Klaasen, he scored 16 or 17, but he hung around for quite a while while wickets were falling around him. I feel there would have been a greater likelihood of the extra wicket not falling as it did in the previous match. Could have been 68 for 2 rather than 68 for 3. But as I said, the moment I saw the 11, I knew they were going to lose this match. I thought KKR were favourites going to this game, but even from when I saw the 11, they continued to not help themselves, and therefore they paid the price. Aiden Markham was dismissed at just over the halfway stage of the innings, and the score was on 62 for 5. The match was well and truly over by then. As I've said before, had Glenn Phillips played ahead of Aiden Markram, where he could have walked out at 5, Henry Klaasen at 4, maybe there would have been a greater assurance, and maybe there would have been. Shabazz Ahmed, who started in the 11 today, dismissed at 71 for 6. And once again, I don't know why there's been a case where you've got a Washington Sundar this time in the impact subs list would have been able to help with batting and bowling. Instead, you bring on Abdul Samad, who apart from the game against RCB, he's had a couple of sixes whenever he's walked out to bat and then not done anything much. And this has been going on for a few seasons. 4 of 4 in this match, and once again, Pat Cummins, he didn't qualify one, scores a 26. If they had brought on Washington Sundar, he would definitely scored more than 4 runs and would have helped with the ball, as you had the extra frontline bowler. Instead, you've got one less of a bowler, and then just because Mitchell Starc dropped the sitter off Pat Cummins, you've got to a total above 100. If not, you're probably defending a total less than 100 with one less bowler. So, poor tactical management there. And even from KKR, yes, they've got the job done convincingly in this match. I'd say again, I would have played the extra spinner ahead of Ramandeep Singh, because if Abhishek Sharma or Henrik Klaasen or Travis Head, who's got double gears, and even 2 of those 3 got past the power play stage and got the team into the position where they could capitalise, if one of the spinners went for runs and you wouldn't have had anyone else to bowl, you had to look for overs from Ramandeep Singh to make up for the spinners not bowling their full quota, which is why I feel Anikul Roy or Surya Sharma should have played ahead of Ramandeep Singh. They didn't do that and they got away with it on this occasion, but this was a clinical performance from KKR, and I thought especially the way they set the tone up front, the Abhishek Sharma dismissal meant that was a huge dent for SRH and they couldn't recover from that. And now in the bowling innings, where yes, you've not got many runs to play with, but the first over goes to 5, the second over, even though it goes to 12, you've dismissed Sunil Ranali, 17 for 1 and 2. The first ball, the third over, Bhuvneshwar Kumar bowls on leg stump and it's clipped away for 4 by Venkatesh Sher. Then he switches to around the wicket for 2 deliveries. The moment he did that, I could see 2 sixes being hit straight down the ground. That's exactly what happened. It was almost as if he was bowling throwdowns. I've said this many times before, Bhuvneshwar Kumar and Trent Boult should not bowl from around the wicket. We've seen 2 cases recently where Trent Boult bowling from around the wicket has either jeopardized the running for his team or in his own figures, where in the semi-final of the World Cup, even though the ball was straightening when he was bowling from over the wicket, he switched to around and tried to use the angle. Instead, the effectiveness reduced quite a bit. I thought he was the only threat that New Zealand had going to that massive challenge India, and since he also tinkered with the angle that he was operating from, he couldn't execute correctly. The second instance where Faf du Plessis in the league stage match against the Rajasthan Royals, yes, he scored 44 of 32, but apart from the 2 sixes that he hit off Trent Boult, there was no momentum during his innings. How did he get those 2 sixes? Trent Boult bowls from around the wicket and 2 sixes over mid-wicket. Well, the moment I saw Bhuvneshwar Kumar, just because he had got his line wrong in the first delivery, which is all down to him, I didn't get why he had to switch to around the wicket, and that over was the over that destroyed the momentum that was picked up in the first 2, the relative momentum picked up for the first 2 overs, and that set Kolkata on their way. And after Pat Cummins had bowled 2 overs, 1 for 18. After the strategic timeout, he doesn't bowl himself and brings on Unadkat and Markram. I felt after the timeout, he checked out of the final and would have been thinking about the T20 World Cup. But it was quite blatant to see. And on Natarajan, what Pat Cummins did when bowling to Gurbaz was that he was bowling short deliveries at 140 odd kph. For some reason, Natarajan was looking to bowl short, was bowling at about 135, Venkatesh Sher was hitting him for boundaries. So, a fantastic innings from Venkatesh, yes, but I also thought the bowling, especially in Bhuvneshwar, switched to around the wicket and Natarajan was looking to bowl short balls at a lower pace. These things helped him quite a bit in getting a score, taking no credit away from him because he's been very good this season. And a clinical victory for KKR. They only lost 3 matches, 2 of those matches in situations where you usually wouldn't expect to lose from. Josh Butler, not 100% fit and takes his team over the line, and a 260 chase. Apart from that, they've only received a drubbing 1 game. That was against the Chennai Super Kings at this venue. They've been clinical throughout the tournament and extremely well deserved. A trophy, 3rd trophy for the Kolkata Knight Riders. SRH, they've entertained us throughout the season, but as I said, going to this final, they've been the weakest strategical side to play an IPL final in my view, and we saw another example of that in this match. So I thought a deserving team won in the end. Credit to both teams for making this far, and the T20 World Cup is coming up very soon, and let's see what's in store. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, share with your friends. Remember, this is my opinion. What's yours?